what was the concept we are discussing detailedly. We will see more today. Already we learned how to handle forms with the traditional React approach. Then we learned about forms using third parties, right? In the third party, we are using a library called Formik. In previous session, we designed only a form, how to design a form using Formik. Now we will see how to handle validation. Formik little bit better when we are dealing with form submitting and all. Already we learned it uses initial values, it uses uh, on uh, on submit, right? And it uses handle change, it uses handle blur, like ready-made options are there. So by using them we designed a form and we simplified. Now we will see today how Formik will handle Formik validations. Formik validations, how we can make the validations also simple. Previously validations was very complex in our previous example. In our Formik example here, we designed a form and we used a lot of validations. And for validations, actually what we do is, that is general form. Yeah. For validations, we have to write a lot of events. Means you have to write like this: verify user, verify password, all these events are required. Now what is advantage of third party? It will reduce the events that you need to write. Here again, several levels are there. I will show you level by level how we can make more simplified. That means depending on users requirement, client requirements, we can use different approaches. We will see all of them. First we will see how basic validation works using Formik, right? Let's design. First we have to import. So use Formik from Formik. So we have to import from Formik. So what is the library? That is Formik. From Formik we have to import this Formik. After that, so we need to create a function. So we are defining export default function, and function is Formik validation. Formik validation. I am creating a Formik validation. It will return some markup. I will put a simple container, and here we will design a simple form, and I will give as form, and I will give as register user, and some fields I am creating as username, and input type is text, and we have some data term age, and we have input type age. Yeah, the input type is number, or you can just give input type is equal to text, and we have another data term, that is we need to say email. Yeah, another input type is equal to text. I'm just using these options here. Now this is a simple form with all these details: username, age, email, and let's keep a button, so register. Now I need to add validation for these fields. So username, age, email, all these. Then let's see how we can define. Generally Formik validation, actual simple, there are so many levels. So you can configure validation for every element in page. You can configure validation for every element in page by using validation function. Actually we can use a validation function. That is the point. So we can validate by using a validate function. Formik uses a validate function. Actually Formik uses a validation function. It uses a validation function. That means how we define So syntactically, so we have a function. This is some validation function. Okay. What this validation function will do is it will get the form details. It will take the form details. After taking the form details, it will create an errors object. It will create an errors object and it will return the errors object. It returns the errors object after verifying the details. That means what we have to do here, we have to write logic for verifying every field. Okay. For verifying every field, you have to write the logic and report the errors. So we need to create a validation function. This validation function should read the values from your form and it should verify the values. If there are any problems in the values, it should report in an errors object. So errors is an object. This error object contains information about all the errors in the form. So form errors we have to define like this. Formik have to use this validation. How it uses? So we have use Formik. This use Formik will have initial values. It will have initial values and this initial values will be using all the field names and it will have validation. This validation uses the validation function. It uses the validation function. That means whatever values are there in the form, those values are sent for validation by Formik into this function. That means whatever values you entered inside a form, those values are collected and those values are sent for validation into this function. That means into this function, those values are sent. It will verify the values. If there is any problem in the value, it will report those values. That means errors contains, Formik returns errors. That errors contains information, error information about every field. How to access it? So you can access error message by using, we have to use Formik dot errors the field name. You have to define the field name, which field name error we have to access and display. This is the approach of how we can handle validations in a form, right? But here again, one level you reduce it. What is the level you reduced is you don't need to write every key up, key down, blur, change like events. But validation functions you have to write. That means verify whether value there or not. Verify the value is a number or not. Verify whether it is an email or not. All such things we have to manage. So what to do now? First step here, we need to create a function. This is verify user details. That is the function. What this verify user details function have to do? It have to take user details. These user details are nothing but we are expecting the user details coming from this form. From the form, we will pass user ID, username, age, email. Now we have to verify them and report. We have to write validation for those fields. Actually, user details is nothing but it is collecting the data from this form. So, and it is have to verify the details. So we have to create a constant errors, and errors is an object. This user details have to return errors. That means this user verify user details is a function which will get the values from the form and it will verify those details and it will report the problems in the details and store them in this errors object. How to verify the details? Again, your logic is same. That means you have to write all the conditions. How? Let's see. For that, we are writing here. First, if user details, what is the field you are expecting from user details? First one is username. If user details dot username is equal to empty, that means if it is empty, then errors object should use username, where it should display a message saying that username required. This message it should display. That is the first point we are defining. That means now what happens? It will collect the value you entered in the text box. It will send the value into this function. This function will collect your username and it will verify value entered inside it or not. If value is not entered into it, it will put this message in the username errors. That is one. Okay. Now I am writing another similarly others. If user details dot another one is age. Age is empty, same. Errors dot age is equal to age required. This required. This message I am giving. Okay. Another condition. If user details dot email is equal to empty, then errors dot email is equal to email required. This is what we have to write. Now error validation function is ready. This function should be used by form to verify the details while entering. So what we have to do, we need to configure here now. So we need to define a Formik. It uses use Formik. It is an object which will take initial values. Initial values is an object. What are the values you are expecting? Username, what type? String. What is age? Age is number type. So I am using 0. And another one, email I am expecting string. These are initial values. If there is a problem in these values, who will verify? If there is a problem in these values, when data is sent into this, who will verify? This validation function should verify. Understood? That means we have to store data into these initial values. Can we directly store? As of now, we can directly store. If there is any restriction for storing data into these values, then you have to tell that by using validate. Validate is asking, is there any validation for storing values? Yes, there is validation. Now you have to tell where is that validation. Where is that validation? Validation is inside which function? Verify user details. We have to use that function here. Verify user details. That means what it will do is this way, this Formik is going to send these values, right? It is going to send these values into verified details. So the Formik is going to send these values into verified details before submitting. Before submitting, it will send all the values into verified details. What verified details will do? It will verify all these are matching or not. If they are not matching, it will record the errors and it will store that errors and it will return that errors to the Formik. It will return the error to the Formik. It will return the errors to the Formik. So that means, let me explain a simple flow here. See. So actually we have Formik. Formik is having initial values. Initial values are the values you are expecting to be stored inside the form. But to store values, you need validate. That means we need a validation function. Am I right? This is a validation function. What we have done is we return a function that is validation function. We are writing a validation function. We are writing a validation function here. And actually, whatever values are collected from the form, these values are sent into this function. Understood? Those values are sent into the function. Whatever values are there, they are sent into the function. Here, we are verifying those values. We are verifying those values and storing the problems in errors. We are storing the problems in errors. What it will do is, it will verify those values And if there are any errors, it will return these errors into this Formik. Understood? It will return the errors to that Formik. That means Formik can access these errors and display what problems are there. Formik can access the errors and display what the problems are. So that means now this validate is passing the values, verifying the values. If there is any problem in those values, then what happens? It will report. And where to display those messages? I want to display here. But as of now, still these text boxes are not binded with Formik. For that, already we know what to do. We have to define a name. Name is what? Username. And here also name, this is age. And here we have a name, email. And we need to bind on change. On change is equal to Formik dot handle change. So it will verify whether value entered or not. Means it will verify the value inside. Similarly, it is fine. Now, where to display the errors? If Formik catches any error in the field, so this function is verifying and catching the errors. Where to display those errors? Below this, I will put a data definition, class name text danger. Here, I want name related error message. So you can access Formik dot errors. Errors have a field. What is it? Username. That means username related error will be displayed here. Same I have to do for others. I will copy here, and here I am defining errors dot age, and here I am defining errors dot email. We are displaying like this. Now, when I am trying to submit this now, I am refreshing this and I will click on submit. Then it have to verify the details. Username required, age required, email required. Username is satisfied, age is satisfied, email is satisfied, some email is satisfied, all these details, and we register, it will submit the details. It will get all the details and submit the details. If anything is not satisfied, then it shows the error. And we can get the details and configure here. You can see it will display. Actually, here we have some details to enter. We click register. It is unable to submit. Formik will handle it internally. You don't need to write anything for that. We can even disable the button until everything is valid. That we will see in next levels. As of now, this is working fine. That means it is verifying the details and submitting the details. And this time, when compared to the previous, little bit better. Why? Because in our previous example, we have to write on key up, verify user, on key up, verify password, on key up, verify some email. So for every event, we have to write logic. But here already events are wired up. You have to just attach the event. This is first level, but still here some more points are there. I will tell you. Copy this. This is first example. This is example. So simple validation. This is the simple validation example. We can have multiple validations. We can keep multiple validation messages, multiple validations for every field. Every field we can have multiple validation. For example, suppose username is mandatory. Username should be minimum 4 characters. It should be maximum 10 characters. So simple, nothing special. We have to write else if another condition. Another condition. What is this condition? If user details dot, what is it? Username dot length. Am I right? Length is less than 4. If length is less than 4, that means errors dot username. In that we will display name to short. That is the name error message I am giving. I can write else if, again, else if user details dot username dot length is greater than 10. That means errors dot username here we need to display. So name too long. We can add multiple validations. That means you can define multiple validations. That means username is compulsory. Username should match with minimum 4 characters. Username should match with maximum 10 characters. If it is not matching while typing, it will report all the problems. Let's see now. Here I will refresh. I am clicking on register. It is asking name required. I am entering the name. It says name too short. I am entering. This is fine. It is hidden. If I go more than 10 characters, then it says name too long. That means it can handle the validation. That means I am not adding minimum 4 characters. It is name too short. I am not entering anything at all. Then it says name required. So you are entering the details. It will display. So we can add multiple validations. We have to just write the conditions. Suppose now, yesterday I told you, one more time I am telling, suppose age is required and age must be number. Then we have to use another option. What is it? Else if. Am I right? Else if. So is NaN. Is NaN. What? So user details. Then errors dot age is equal to. So age must be a number. So that message we are displaying. We have to use all the JavaScript functions. But here some more issues will be there. I will tell you here. Suppose I said here, so register, this is entered, and age, so it says it must be a number. It must be a number. I am entering a number, then it is okay. If I am not entering a number, it says it must be a number. We have to use JavaScript functions. I already told you, for every purpose we don't have function. We have to write manually certain logics, right? We don't have logic for every purpose. You have to manually write. For example, suppose I ask to enter an even number. How you will verify? Obviously, you have to write a logic. If number is divided by 2, modulus is 0, then it is even. Otherwise, not. Right? There are no ready-made options for that. We have to write the logic for everything. Similarly, for example, email requires @ right? That means I'm entering some David, so outlook.com. It should show that message. We can write multiple conditions. That means here we are writing here, else if user details dot email dot index of @ is and index of @ is less than or equal to 2. Because index of is used to verify. Index of is used to verify whether the character is present or not. If character is not present, it will return -1. But I return 2. Why? Because generally email should not start with @ right? If it is present, but still it is present at 1 position or 2 position, I will say that not a valid email. You can write a lot of conditions. Here I am using errors.email. I will say it is invalid email. Invalid email. We are just defining invalid email. That means now you can see here. So when you are configuring this, now this is register. I'm entering the details. I'm entering the age, and you can see invalid email. So David, it is invalid email. Outlook.com, it is invalid. You need an @ then it is okay. Everything we need to verify. And many times we have to use patterns. You learned already patterns. We have to use many times even patterns to verify. For example, suppose I am adding another field called mobile. It is a string type. And here I am adding another data term mobile, and data definition input type is equal to text. So input type is equal to text, and here I will keep on change is Formik dot handle change. Okay. Now here we will bind with the name. The name is mobile. And here what I am doing is displaying the error message. And same error message, let me copy this one. Same error message that Formik dot errors dot mobile. Mobile, we will use the mobile. And for mobile, here I need to write a pattern. That means in the errors, I am writing again. So if user details dot mobile dot match, you have to use a JavaScript match method, match with regular expression. So regular expression should be written in double slash plus 91 slash D 10 digits number. This is regular expression for validating mobile. That's a general JavaScript validation. So if it is matching with this, then what we do, errors dot mobile. So we will put as simple as invalid mobile. So if it is matching, we will keep as empty. Else we will put errors dot mobile. We will keep as invalid mobile. If mobile is also required, then I will keep here if user details dot mobile is equal to empty, right? And this will use an else if. If it is empty, then errors dot mobile so is equal to, we have to display mobile required. That is the option. This time I am using a regular expression for verifying the value. We can use regular expressions, we can use the general functions, and we can validate. So here it is working fine. So you can see this is mobile required. So username entered, age entered, email entered, and so we are verifying. This is how we can handle multiple validations. Means how we can handle multiple validations for the same field. So this is another example. Let me copy this. This is multiple validations for every field. We are simple writing.